Hi guys, I'm back with looks like another Go4SC2 map, and this is a replay that I found again from just the website. Let me see here. I'm not entirely sure. I forget who these players are, but let's just go ahead and look at their names and see what they are in game. Okay, so spawning is our Protoss in the upper right-hand corner of the map. His name is ShowTime. Does have a bit of a familiar ring to it, but I can't really place it that well. And in the lower left, his Protoss protagonist in the blue trunks, Impact ToGaDa. Now this is a mirror matchup, make no mistake about it. There was something I wanted to bring up just a minute ago, but I forget. Well, I took this from the front page of drop.sc. Of course, we have a forward pylon going down for ToGaDa. And we're just going to wait and see where things go from here. But talking about the map for just a moment. There's a bit of a glare on my monitor. Here we go. Yes. This one's kind of wide open. PvP-wise, I don't see necessarily the advantage or the need for a SimCity. But of course, I like this move by ShowTime in a show, or excuse me, not in a show match. In PvP, you can never really be too careful. It's always difficult to deal with a double proxy gate, and we just have ShowTime making sure that he's not gonna have to deal with that. Meanwhile, from ToGaDa, we got basically, I think, a 100%, almost 100% similar, excuse me, opener from him. Now, this is kind of interesting because we have a double gas going down for ShowTime, and I will highlight that according to Wings of Liberty, the kinds of openings that are typical with this, if we see just 2 probes on gas until full saturation on the mineral line, is ordinarily we would see some blink stalkers. I say this conservatively. I'm willing to make that kind of a guess. And I think what we could see from ShowTime is probably some Stargate play. In fact, it's entirely possible that he could be going Twilight Council as well, but for now we only see 3 probes on 1 gas. Fun fact of the day, if you put 2 probes on 1 gas, it is more effective than 3 probes on 1 gas and then 1 probe on the other. So just thought I'd just highlight that. There's another gateway going down for ShowTime, and I can't say this enough. Let's just wait and see where he's going to go with the tech. I mean, he's got a cybernetics core. All that we're waiting for is to see an advanced structure go down. And of course, ShowTime is going in here. He's getting a click on each gas, and he's just going to see what his opponent's doing. It looks like it could be, he doesn't know what it could be. Nor do I, to be quite honest. But here we go. Pylon already getting on the way for ShowTime at, well, above the mineral line. And now we got double gas, and I just have a feeling that we're gonna see relatively similar plays, but there it is. I was wrong, actually. It was a Stargate. All I can tell you is that double gas 1 base means you will always see something from the advanced tech tree. But for some strange reason, there's always one player. There's one player that sticks out in my mind the most. And when I see double gas with only 2 probes on it, and that player is MVP Lure. But that's because he's the one Protoss that I think I have casted the most, now that I think of it, in my entire career of casting, if you will. Now I say career, I want to say very lightly because I'm not actually paid to do anything that I do. And I was just really, I was just honored to cast that player at that event. Just being in the same lobby as them and able to have an obs position in game, nonetheless, is it's something that it makes you humble, and at the same time, you're just happy to be there. But here we go, ShowTime. So basically, that's the whole reason why I am used to calling out double gas, or excuse me, Twilight Council on double gas. But this is really bad for ShowTime. Look at this. He's going to get us around on these stalkers, yes, but these stalkers are not over here to give in the proper amount of DPS. He's actually down 1 stalker, and a time warp is going down as well. And I'm a little curious, just what kind of a follow-up do we have? What exactly did we have from ToGaDa? It's just a 3-gate aggression, possible contain, And with this, I think we're going to see ToGaDa throw down an Expo behind this. He's actually up 10 supply, which is not a lot, but at this stage in the game, it is a huge fraction. Mothership Core kind of going in there, trying to poke in, do some damage, and it's just not going to work without it falling in the process. And we just have more and more Stalkers getting tacked on. One thing I think would be okay to see is perhaps a, you know, maybe, never mind. I was going to say, I'm just going to drop that thought for now and just bring to your attention that we have ShowTime going into defensive mode while we actually have also an Oracle coming out. This is actually a good counter move by ShowTime, as well as the Twilight Council going down. So right now we actually have ToGaDa behind, and if we see that ShowTime can hold this attack, he will be in a good position. Here we go. So far, so good-ish. He did lose a lot of probes. Make no doubt about that, but right now he still has one more than his opponent. There's a lot of Zealots in the mix here. They're going to chase down these Stalkers, sort of. And behind this we do have Blink going down, but we also have both players opting to probe up. You know, I mean, relatively, you know, it's one of those weird things about PvP. It also seems to be a kind of rock, paper, scissors, if you will, and I just want to click on one of these Stalkers and see what they know about the main. They actually never saw that Stargate, so that was actually an excellent element of surprise by ShowTime. It just goes to show you how important it is to keep your tech out of plain sight as best as you possibly can. Now it seems like the Stalkers here for ToGaDa are kind of going into a defensive position. There's a lot of Stalkers here, some Zealots and so on and so forth, but when Blink comes into play, I'm thinking that the sentries there will be almost nearly useless. For the most part. Well, not for the most part, but of course in the initial engagements, because if they throw down force fields, the Stalkers can just blink away. But if there's an aggressive blink forward, which we should never see from ToGaDa versus ShowTime presently, because of the sentries, you know, it could mean trouble for ToGaDa if that were to happen. Now, there's just one hallucinated Phoenix kind of moving out here. And let's just see what he's going to find out about ToGaDa. He's going to see something, but what is he going to see? He's going to see the Twilight Council. He sees that there's just one base on this Protoss. And now we have ToGaDa kind of going into some kind of a dangerous-ish assault. And there's only about 4 Stalkers here to hold, along with 5 sentries and a handful of Zealots. And you know, the Stalkers are kind of doing okay, but they do have to fully blink out of there. It looks like one slight misclick from ToGaDa did just come. ShowTime is actually up in supply right now, so ToGaDa has to take a very careful engagement, especially with a couple of these red HP Stalkers, and it looks like there might be a kind of aggressive blink coming in soon, maybe? Yes, this could be it. It looks like, for now, ShowTime has opted to just abandon that and get some Immortals out. The only thing that's really working in favor of ShowTime is the fact that his opponent does not presently have any vision on the high ground, which means there's not going to be an aggressive blink in. And in case you guys didn't know, in Heart of the Swarm, you cannot warp units in on high ground if you have a pylon right next to it. That's why we stopped seeing that trend. Alright, so here we go. We got a Void Ray. That's going to get a lot of buff versus the Stalkers here. And, of course, there's also an Immortal. That's going to be good for him. And these are some excellent force fields. So now both players relatively even in supply. But if ToGaDa is going to go all in with this, he's going to have to do it really soon. And he's going to have to be extremely careful how he does it. He's going to have to target down the Void Ray first and then the Immortal, or vice versa. And right now he's just kind of parked outside. I don't think he's going to take it into all-in mode. The wisest thing he can do right now is kind of Expo behind this. And we do have about 200 minerals floating presently. Okay, but he's continuing to warp in more units. He's just gonna try and, I think, take it into all-in mode. But we also have a Dark Shrine going behind this, and it looks like we did have ToGaDa kind of just poke up there. He's like, great, I can't engage that. Now there's 2 Immortals here, so remember, the longer this drags on, the more dangerous it's going to get for ToGaDa, because he actually does not have, you know, he's actually losing Immortals every time he moves back towards ShowTime. The only thing I want to say that is working in his favor is presently I don't think there's an observer out on the map. And his opponent has absolutely 0 detection. So if any DTs come into play, that will absolutely obliterate the mineral line. And we've got just more and more stalkers kind of being just, I don't want to say torn apart, but every time he leaves a stalker there, it's just gonna, or every time he turns back to shoot, he's taking substantially more damage than he's actually dealing out. If we check the composition right now, we have a much more diverse one from ShowTime. He's got a Mothership Core, Void Ray, 1 Immortal. Looks like one of them did get targeted down in the process while I wasn't paying attention. 4 Stalkers, 4 Zealots, and a lot of Sentries. So it looks like we're going to have ToGaDa try and go into this, I wouldn't say aggressively, but definitely quite confidently. And DT number 1 has arrived in the main of his opponent. There is no Observer out whatsoever. So now we actually see ShowTime in a huge heap of trouble. He has to kill his opponent here, otherwise oh, wait, never mind. Interesting. Okay, his entire army just recalled back. Good move by him, but I'm a little oblivious as to how he actually got a detector out. Where did that come from? Okay, it looks like one was building as soon as he got it out. And now there's a total of 2 observers there. And we have a very healthy-ish stalker count for ToGaDa. That is 13 stalkers, all of them have blink, versus 4 stalkers that have blink, and 1 void ray and 1 immortal. A lot of sentries. I actually think sentries is a bit of a dangerous choice, but we'll just have to wait and see how this pans out. And we have immortal production coming back, blink back after targeting down 1 or 2 stalkers here. Something fell in all of that, of course. I'm just not sure what. And now we have, you know, ShowTime. He's not stupid. He knows that every single stalker that he kills is going to make the difference in this. There's nothing like fungal growth or locust swarms that are going to come in and just nom away at the stalker count of his opponent. And that's what makes such a huge difference. 1 stalker can make the difference. All right, there we go. Photon overcharge going down on the Nexus. And it looks like, I'm sorry, he did blink away towards the 3rd location. Checking the harvester count right now, it's actually heavily in favor of ShowTime, so he's got a significant economic lead if we just look at the income. And he's using that mineral lead to basically warp in more Zealots. Zealots, not the best choice versus Stalkers, but when you have Stalkers that are forced to shoot at the Zealots as opposed to the Stalkers in back, it kind of works out in your favor just a little bit. So of course we don't have a Korean style blink stalker versus blink stalker kind of play, but you know, it'll be interesting to say the very least. All right, more and more sentries getting tacked on, but definitely the one thing that's working against ToGaDa right now is the income, without a doubt. Looks like ToGaDa tried to yank a Zealot there, tried to aggro a Zealot. Didn't quite work out, and now we have the 4th gas up and running for ShowTime. ToGaDa, really, he's in a, I don't know how else to say it, a really tough spot. I mean, nobody wants to be in this spot, and I think, like, basically one of the best ways for him to kind of complement that is possibly take an Expo behind this. There are 2 Archons in this as well. And this is actually quite critical because ShowTime did not scout that. This is going to make the force fields absolutely worthless because Archons are massive and they can just like push through force fields. Even while they're soccer balling, they can be pushed through force fields. Alright, and Phoenix is right there. Kind of just bleh, disappears. ShowTime, basically, he knew the entire time that his opponent had an Expo, but this is going to be quite interesting to watch. This is actually not quite the best choice by ToGaDa, but oh my god, I was going to say, if we could just see like some kind of a, I don't know how else to say it. You know, right now ShowTime has superior supply count, but most of that is tied up in Zealots and a few Immortals, Sentries, and you know, there's only a handful of Stalkers, like 4 of them, but that's it. And it looks like ToGaDa is going in right now for a kill. He did just activate Guardian Shield. That means he's got the intention of engaging. Let's just see how this goes. Alright, Archon's in front tanking for the Stalkers in back. The Zealots are behind, but they don't have charge or anything of that nature. And right now we see the supply of ToGaDa just absolutely plummeting. The Stalkers blink up onto the high ground here, trying to target down the more important units, and the Mothership Cores are both still alive, and ToGaDa's supply is now at 50 out of 132. With that, we see ToGaDa call out GG, and he leaves the game. ShowTime also saying GG, not an unmannered player. So I mean, that's one of the more, I want to say, classical-ish styles of PvP. I want to say classical-ish because we didn't see Void Rays en masse, which actually seems to be the real choice to make, and like it seems to be trending more and more in PvP. But if you guys liked what you saw, just go ahead and click on the subscribe button to the right of the screen. It should be glowing red. Anyway, this has been Breaker. I'll see you guys next time.